Do you feel the buzz?
New exclusive pictures of the McLaren Senna show the 789 bhp track-focused hypercar on the move in closer detail than before. The model, which made a surprise dynamic debut during the launch of the new McLaren Composite Technology Centre in Sheffield earlier this month, arrives 5 years on from McLaren's rule-breaking P1 hypercar and is being tested on the open road before its final settings are signed off. The Senna is the second member of McLaren's range-topping Ultimate Series, an ultimate road legal track car, and gets the name of the Grand Prix team's greatest champion, Ayrton Senna. Full technical rundown of McLaren's 789 bhp Senna. Revealed at an exclusive launch in London in January, the £750,000 McLaren Senna is the first model from Woking to have styling described by its creators as brutal and unforgiving. The car's unique looks result largely from the extreme active aerodynamics that's proud from its basic teardrop shape, a huge rear wing and front splitter both with active elements plus straight flanks, exotically shaped wheel arches, air-gulping scoops and inlets, and more subtle air dams and strakes. McLaren's Andy Palmer on the new Senna hypercar. According to Ultimate Series vehicle line boss Andy Palmer, the Senna's engineering and design team spent 2 years adapting McLaren's now familiar recipe of carbon fiber chassis and panels, compact, mid-mounted twin-turbo V8, race-bred interconnected suspension and electro-hydraulic power steering to create the most extreme McLaren since the company's modern era began in 2010. Opinion: is McLaren readying the Senna for Le Mans? The result is a car with the unprecedentedly low dry weight of 1,198 kilograms, undercutting the already light 720s by 220 kilograms. Throw in a 9% power hike for the 4.0-liter engine, and the Senna has an eye-watering power-to-weight ratio of 660 bhp per tonne. It is not surprising that the factory claims it'll turn in the quickest lap times of any production McLaren yet. McLaren has just confirmed the car's straight-line performance figures. You can get a full rundown of them here, but the key ones are this: 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds, a top speed of 211 miles per hour. McLaren Hyper GT development mule. First pictures. Palmer is at pains to point out that, despite the spectacular performance, the Senna is not a direct P1 successor. Unlike other McLarens, which claim a breadth of capability, the Senna focuses squarely on lap times, offering the purest connection yet between driver and car of any road-legal McLaren. Besides, whereas the P1 was a hybrid as half of McLaren's production cars will be by 2022, the Senna is a solely fossil-fueled car whose lack of electrification is one reason for its amazingly low weight. McLaren P1 GTR review. Day-to-day practicality also goes onto the back burner in the Senna. A 720s has decent luggage space and cabin storage, for instance. But this track day special has deliberately very little. A new rollover structure behind the driver leaves room, according to Palmer, for only 2 helmets, 2 driving suits and possibly a packet of sandwiches. The use of the Senna name is underpinned by the continuing presence at Woking of Bruno Senna, Ayrton's nephew and a former Formula One racer in his own right. As a McLaren automotive driver and ambassador, this is the first project that really connects with Ayrton's racing spirit and performance, said Senna. The McLaren Senna honors my uncle because it is so utterly dedicated to allowing its drivers to be the best they can possibly be. The Senna's core component is a developed version of the 720 carbon fiber chassis, now called Monocage 3 and claimed to be the strongest chassis yet used in a McLaren road car. It still has an aluminium front subframe to carry the car's front suspension and deformable crash structure. But the rear bulkhead is now formed mostly in carbon fiber, a measure that saves an impressive 18 kilograms. There is weight saving all over the car as a result of fanatical attention to detail. including reductions in weighty equipment of a kind the keenest drivers don't need, and improvements in technology, such as a patented new spec carbon fiber recipe that cuts the weight of the Senna's front wing from 2 kilograms to just 650 grams, with no significant loss of durability. The engine sits in the new lowered position of the 720s, but a redesign of its plenum chamber allows a lowering of the rear deck by another 18 millimeters and saves more weight. There are no switches on the Senna's doors, which are similar in size to a 720s, but have only half-sized lowering glass panes which both reduce complication and allude usefully to the McLaren F1. In their lightest form, the doors weigh just 8.8 kilograms, less than half those of a 720s. Active aerodynamic addenda dominate the Senna, and McLaren engineers claim groundbreaking downforce and stability for their carefully coordinated package. There's a very prominent pylon-mounted rear wing that adjusts around 20 degrees, according to driving mode, providing high-speed downforce, braking drag, and a DRS mode for when the car is going fast in a straight line. Smaller but extremely efficient blades in the front air scoops, just above the front splitter, move automatically to balance aero downforce, front to rear, including when the car is cornering. On the rear deck, prominent gurney flaps ahead of a line of louvers create a low-pressure area that draws hot air from the radiators and engine bay. An exotic-looking 4-outlet/cut exhaust is carefully positioned on the car's sloping rear deck, below the rear wing, but above the diffuser to cause minimum interference. The Senna also has ultralight seats, and many ancillary controls are now grouped in a roof console between the occupants. The interior, painstakingly simplified and shorn of excessive weight, is unashamedly designed entirely to suit the driver, who can be fitted precisely to a new car or the factory. For a while, McLaren even considered leaving out the passenger seat as a weight-saving measure, but decided many owners would prefer to drive on the track with a passenger. The suspension is a developed version of the P1's all-independent, down bluish-boned layout, with specially tuned dampers that are hydraulically interconnected both front to rear and side to side, plus another hydraulic system that functions as an anti-roll bar. The entire setup is governed by an electronic gizmo called Race Active Chassis Control 2 RCC2 that incorporates an automatic stiffness control called K-damper. The whole lot will adapt automatically to road conditions, but can also be configured manually along with engine and gearbox behavior from an active dynamics panel on the center console that offers comfort, sport and track modes. A race mode can be selected via the overhead panel. This hardest-edged road McLaren yet will make its public debut at the Geneva Motor Show in March and enter production next summer. The first cars from the hand-built batch of 500 will reach their owners before the end of 2018. If you don't have a confirmed order, says McLaren, you're already too late. The last car in the production run was auctioned at an event for customers, where the car was revealed in the metal. It sold for £2 million, with the money raised donated to the Senna Foundation. This last car will reach its owner within a year.